We have a new competitor on the Chinese market, starting out life with their signature Eye of the Dragon collection. This piece embodies classic watch design, beautiful colours, and an ornate yet sophisticated presence on wrist. This could be the perfect budget alternative to a Seiko Alpanist. Hi guys, my name is Jason and I am your watch guy today. The Seiko Alpanist is one of the all-time greats in the market. The new version, however, would set you back £690 from a Seiko boutique. This alternative that I have today from Zezame could set you back as little as £125. That's through their Aliexpress store. All of their links are in the description, as well as Amazon and their own website. This is a really promising prospect of a watch. Let's get into it. A classic green Lume dial, a Cathedral handset, gold accents, and a pilot crown twist. I'm pretty sure you can see why I fell for this watch so quickly out of the box. They've executed a really nice 316L stainless steel brushed casing. It's really classic looking, and that's encapsulated by the reverse bowl-like fixed bezel in a gold tone. I really love how that gold accents the green tones throughout the watch. The bezel itself is matched to the screwed down pilot style crown, much bigger than your average crown profile, and it has the more classic pilot look to it. It's also got a fantastic level of grip, and it is signed with the Zezame Z. The thin cross section to this really does sell the whole vintage vibe to me, and this is controlling the YN55 movement packed into this watch, very similar to the NH35 caliber. We have a circular brushing to the case back. It's screwed down and definitely provides more of a water resistance. The crystal on this one is mineral, but it does have a really lovely dome to it, and it definitely sells the vintage look for me. It fits the aesthetic of the watch overall perfectly. Let's talk about the dimensions of it. It's 38.1mm in diameter, 12.5mm thick, including that domed crystal. Lug to lug comes in a 45.9mm, and these are 20mm lugs. The dial on this piece for me is just phenomenal. The green Lume is very vintage inspired, and again, brings us back to that whole Seiko Alpanist look. It also matches the gold tones of the casing really well. The markings and handset all have a gold tone to them, definitely working really well with that green dial. The numerals at 12, 3 and 9 definitely have a vintage tone to them, and it pushes that retro look for me. At the 6 there is a date window. It has a black date wheel to it. Now it's not colour matched to the dial, but due to that Lume colour, it definitely works really well with the piece and fits in quite nicely. Another thing I'll note is with it being a 6 o'clock date window, it helps with the symmetrical look to the piece and definitely doesn't take anything away from the overall design. The Zezame logo script is at the 12 o'clock. You can see where they've gone with this more ornate looking script that is in the gold tone that we also have for the markings. The aspect to this piece that really sells the Alpanist alternative to me is the Cathedral handset. As mentioned, we have the gold tones to the outer edge, the aged effect Lume, and with that arrow second hand, it just works really well for me. It's very well fitted to the piece, and who isn't a fan of a Cathedral handset on a more ornate looking piece? We do have a Lume signature to assess here. I'm hoping we are playing more towards Seiko and less towards the rest of the Chinese market. Let's have a look. I'll have to say it, the lume on this one is much better than I expected. All the indices are lumed, the handset is lumed, and the lovely little surprise there is that the date window is also lumed. Now it's not a nuclear lume shot, but it's bright enough to be considered a really good one. I think out of 10, the least I can possibly give this is an 8, and it's fully deserved. There's no crazy tricks here, but that date window is definitely a surprise to me, and the actual quality to the lume is another surprise. The beads of rice style bracelet is perfect for this piece. It fits the overall style of the watch, and it provides a really nice fit to wrist. There's plenty of adjustable links. As well as that, we have 3 levels of micro adjust on the clasp. That clasp is slightly more simple, a fold over clasp accented with a polished finish and a Zezame script. It may be more basic, but it is a milled clasp. As well as that, another note is that the polished centers and the brushed outer edge really do match in well with the casing and gives a more premium look to the bracelet itself. I think it's probably time for me to get this on wrist and show you how it looks. Now, as a reviewer, I don't want to be too over the top positive with this piece, but when it comes down to the wearability and the fit on wrist, this one is absolutely perfect. I think it owes some of that to the Beads of Rice bracelet. As well as that though, the shorter links make for a much better fit on wrist, and the lug to lug is absolutely ideal for me. Now, if you are just going on how wearable a piece is, this one has got to be up there with some of the best. It's the perfect everyday wear for me, just the ideal size. I've really enjoyed having this one on wrist. I think this watch will be pretty popular due to the specifications, the build quality, and the slight resemblance or feeling of the Seiko Alpanist doesn't hurt at all. I do have some downsides to mention though. The mineral crystal, for one, I understand it's domed and really does fit the piece very well, but in this modern day with so many spec monsters on the market, I think that we should have really had a sapphire crystal here. It won't put off every buyer, but it will put off the odd few. Secondly, and definitely more importantly, I found that there are a couple of sharper edges to this piece. It's not a big deal for me. I think it's definitely more well finished than the likes of Pagani Design and Cadison. It's nowhere near that type of level, but a slighter, better finish would have been really appreciated here. And speaking of finishing, there's a radial finish to the brush on the lugs. I feel like they've missed a trick by not giving it a straight brush finish and matching it into the bracelet. I think that would have made it flow slightly more for me. And it's a very minuscule complaint, but I also feel like I didn't have much to give you in terms of moans for this piece. So here we are. That being said, I think this is a fantastic alternative to a Seiko Alpanist on a budget. The design is definitely more original than the classic homage piece, and I think a lot of people out there will appreciate that, and I think Zezame have gone down the right route by doing that. It'll definitely be popular, and it'll be interesting to see where they go next. Thanks for watching this one, guys. If you are interested in the watch, I have multiple purchase links below in the description. For the UK, it's probably best to go to the Aliexpress market. For the US, probably the Amazon market, and they also have their own website down there. Remember to subscribe for more watch content, and I will see you in the next one.